feel like for Marty, there's a real sense of gratitude, and I think that that comes with acceptance. That you can be angry and all of those things, and you can be confused about it all. But at a certain point, if you have that moment of acceptance, then the next thing you're going to have is probably gratitude. Gratitude for all of the things that you got to see and experience, and the life you were able to live, and the people that you were able to love and to connect to.
Michael Sowell from Sowell Media. How are you doing?
Very good.
First, congratulations with this film. I love, even though it was a short time in the first third of this film, I feel that scene with you and Karen was just beautiful. You sitting on a bench and looking at the stars, and going back to the scene previously where you're seeing with Matthew talking about, the stages of grief, and the last stage is acceptance. So, and with all the chaos going on in the world, people know internet's losing, and people don't know what's going on. When you come to that point of acceptance, and I want to make this personal, if it is in a moment in where you're in your final moments and in a grandized, moment and is happening, what would you do and who would you be with?
Mm. In the final, and when the final curtain's coming down.
Exactly, the final curtain call.
Exactly. Well, inevitably, being sentimental, I would be with my family. I would be that's, I would endeavor to be there. And I feel like it's that sense of, I think that's what Marty is really looking for, is that sense of connection. Um, but that's what's meaningful. And I think that he would feel, and I would feel very grateful within that context to have that sense of connection. In the early days of COVID, I was actually separated from most people that I knew, and I was in New York because I was working in New York when it all kind of kicked off, and so so most of the people that I am very connected to are either in London or here in Los Angeles, and so there was a real sense of isolation. And if things kind of really got out of hand, one of the things that would be really regretful was just not having. And one of the things I felt, a lot of people felt isolated, but one of the things that I really felt was that disconnect, that it felt very unnatural within that kind of context, within that sort of chaos, to not have that feeling of going through it with people that you really bonded with, that really meant a lot to you. So I feel like for Marty, there's a real sense of gratitude, and I think that comes with acceptance. That you can be angry and all of those things, and you can be confused about it all. But at a certain point, if you have that moment of acceptance, then the next thing you're going to have is probably gratitude. Gratitude for all of the things that you got to see and experience, and the life you were able to live, and the people that you were able to love and to connect to. Is and so we all hope that we can carry those sort of meaningful understandings throughout our life, and to live in a life of gratitude and acceptance and so on. It's harder in the day to day, and it sort of requires those kind of big moments, or when you're reflecting on it, to think and feel those things. But that would be my hope for the final curtain.
I just want to say that this was a beautiful film. Thank you for your performance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Isn't that wonderful?